start recording also. So, welcome to this lesson. It's highly experimental because I will stream about how to stream. And the reason for this is actually that I want to show you how to work with OBS because of the new Semester 2 Sprint 2 assignment. Let me quickly open this one up because I think it makes sense to quickly have a look at this. Let me see if I can switch this on. This is the wrong one because as we know, as we planned, we are going into video editing, and since you cannot go out to the language school to actually film, I thought we'll do something else that very much fits these times that we are in, and that also kind of has a nice wholesome aspect to it. You probably all watched at one point YouTube videos about whatever, like tutorial videos that teach you things, where people show their skills and where people share their skills. And that's something that I actually want you to do as well, because this will make you practice cutting videos. It will make you practice filming with whatever you have available. So it will be very improvised, and this is okay because you have to improvise also later in your work. So if you don't have a fancy camera and a customer wants from you to do a nice video anyways, you have to see what you do. And that's exactly what this assignment is about. So have a look at this, ask me questions if you have any, and think about it already. This will be a group assignment, so you can decide your own groups. I will not necessarily link it to the project groups, but it's definitely an option that you use the same groups for this. But maybe you want to mix it up and work with someone else from time to time. So have a look at this. Today, the idea is that we are actually talking about OBS, which is called Open Broadcaster software, which is actually what I use to stream. So I will show things in the software that I use while I use it, which will be a bit weird here and there, but we'll figure it out. Generally, it's a free piece of software that you can download here at obsproject.com, and it can not only be used to stream like I do at the moment, it can also be used to record. So you can very nicely plan your tutorial video and make like little inserts like I also do with the camera on the bottom and texts and everything, and can prepare this. So it is maybe a nice tool that you could use, although, as I said before, you choose what kind of tools you use for your assignments. I will not force you to use one specific tool. Anyways, I will show you this one, and I think it's a useful thing to know also for these times, because maybe you also want to stream for your friends or something, maybe you want to stay in contact, and I think contact and social interaction is what we all need in these times. So, about OBS. Because, like I said, I have to use the software while I show it. Certain things are hard to show. That's why I have a tiny pre-recorded video that I will show you that highlights a few buttons, and then afterwards I'll go into a more interactive part on it and do it myself and give you some insight to it. So I'll start this video for now. Where you see OBS, and on the sides you have a big preview in the middle. I will go through this again, and then on the side you have scenes, sources, audio mixer, and all kinds of controls. See scenes as like as a general selection on what kind of overview, what kind of layout you have. Sources where you put in different videos and source material. You can, as you see, do transitions between scenes. So you can define, for example, 5 different views that you want to show to people, and then switch between them by using transitions. So it's a quite fancy thing to do. How to add sources I will show you at a later point. On the sides you have some control buttons, for example, for starting the stream, for starting the recording, a studio mode that I will show you in a moment, settings, and yeah, exit is, I think, pretty self-explanatory. And here the sources window is maybe the most interesting one. So here you can choose all kinds of things that you want maybe to put in your tutorial videos. So you can, for example, in this here, do window capture. And this is like a screen sharing, but you can decide what window to actually share. That's also something that I will show again in a moment and a bit slower. And where you, here in this example, for example, I use Chrome when I find it. And then it puts Chrome into this preview up there. And that's exactly what you will record or what you will stream out. And you see you can resize these things, you can arrange them like you want them. and that way you can construct whatever you need, and you see there is an almost live feed of this window that you're recording. Keep in mind I'm using a Mac, so some things might be slightly different than what you get from a Windows machine, but this program works on all kinds of machines, so also on Windows and Mac. So let's go into actually the page where I can show you this. So this is the screen that you see at the moment. So you see me recording, and you have a bit of an inception going on up on the top, because you see my screen in the window, and this is pretty much my setup that I use for giving you like lessons through the stream. So I have like a browser on the bottom left that I can put online if I need to, that you can see. I have a few notes on the bottom right that are more for me, for what I'm actually doing. And on the top right, I have Keynote or PowerPoint running, where I actually have my slides going. Yeah? So I have it in edit mode, not in full screen mode, which means I can also type in and switch between slides easily and without changing some things there. So what can you do here? More inception going on. I promised that I show you more about the sources. As you see here is a little plus button, and with this plus button you can add additional sources. For example, if I want in my tutorial video, if I want in the end like my own face be visible, I can choose a video capture device. I know this looks a bit odd now, just ignore the repetitions that go into the endless void over here, and just try to focus on the front one. So I can choose the device that I want to use, in my case the FaceTime camera, and then I can put it into place where I ever need it. So this way you can construct your view or your setup for your tutorials pretty easily, and it gives you the option to give it a personal style or give it like additional information. So for example, you can also embed media. If I go for this thing here, as you might remember this one, yeah, that's the thing that I have in my waiting list, and you see it's at the moment overlaying my camera feed. So these things here, these sources, are like layers, so I can put them on top of each other. Yeah, so that means like I can also do overlays. I can put texts into my video stream, or I can adjust what I want to see or what I want to show when I want to show it. So let me quickly delete the waiting child. I have to change this. It's funny, but only once. Okay, what else can you do here? You have the option to also add window capture. That's also something that I already mentioned. So when you make a new window capture, it asks you for which window you want to take. In my case, let's do Keynote. And then I get a giant version of Keynote in my output, which is probably more than I want to show to people, because it shows the whole window. It is still like a live update, so if I change something around in Keynote, you will see it, and if it was PowerPoint, it was exactly the same thing. But still, I don't want people maybe to see the whole controls that Keynote has around it. So I can also go in here and say that I want to transform this window and, for example, cut something off on the sides. By this, I have the option to make this appear like it's an actual full screen Keynote window, although it is maybe not. So I can cut out pieces of the window that I want to show. This can be very useful for all kinds of things. For example, if you have like a programming tool that you want to show and you only want to show the code, or if you only want to show your app running, this could be something for this. Down here, there you have the option to one moment, I have to put this away, otherwise you don't see what I'm doing. Down here, you have the option to switch things on and off. So here is a little eye, which lets you decide what is at the moment visible and what not. And you can lock things. Lock means you cannot move it around anymore. It's locked in place. This is something that I didn't want to do just now. You can also, as you see, you can pop out pieces of the windows, so you can like make your own user interface for OBS, but it's something that is not really that useful, I think. So let me deactivate this again. Like I said, you have the option to put things in and out, and let me quickly look on my notes. What else do I have? Oh yeah, pretty cool, a little additional thing. There's also, for example, apps that you can use to stream your phone output directly into into OBS. So let me quickly try if I get this to run. It worked before when I tried. So this is a free app that's called Epoch Cam. So if I select the device Epoch Cam, yes, and then you can see my actual setup in here. And I can also put this on the side. So you have this in smaller, or you have it in full screen. And for example, if you would want to show something on your desk, this is a definite possibility. So it's no problem to do something like this, even wirelessly. So there is all kinds of ways how you can use these. Maybe put it on a tripod, your phone, and put like a little extra window in there that shows what you're doing. All this is definitely possible. And what I really like about it is that it's all live. So this means like I'm doing this right now and my computer does it, so to say, automatically in the background. Important here, you need a reasonably fast computer. You might see this down here. My iMac has like roughly 20% load to do that. If you have like a really old one, a really old computer, you might get into problems, especially when you're streaming something. One moment, let me quickly clean this up a bit. If you're streaming something that needs a lot of load, a lot of capacity from your computer itself. Yeah, so you have to watch out a tiny bit for this and see that you have enough capacity. Another thing is the settings that you should see now. Yes, you do. Interesting about the settings is, especially if you want to stream, for example, to Twitch, you get a so-called stream key. If you click on this little link here, it gives you the page on Twitch where you actually can copy paste this key if you're logged in. But you don't need to stream. You can also just leave this all empty and just record. Under output, you might remember the lesson about encoders and about codecs. Here you are, for example, exporting in X264, so H.264, which you might remember from the last lesson. And the video bitrate is how many kilobyte per second are being pushed towards Twitch in my case now. So this is something that you have to decide based on how fast your internet connection is. So with this you can influence that. Don't go too high here. If you're going too high, people get problems playing it, and it might cancel while you're streaming. If you're too low, it gets very blocky and very hard to see anything. Additionally, on top of this, down here you have like a recording. So if you're just going for recording, this is the way you can do it, where you say, okay, I want everything that I record to end up in a certain folder on my desktop. And can also say what kind of quality I want for this. So, for example, I want a higher quality than for what I stream. Under video, this is the other meaningful thing that you might still want to know. You can say how high the resolution is that you stream. Don't go too high. Don't go for something that is over full HD. This is over the top, I would say. Theoretically, you could stream also 4K or say 4K, but who needs this in a tutorial setting? Unless you have something that is needs very high resolution and you're expecting people to also have screens for that. Most people don't have that. So full HD is more than enough. So 1920 by 1080, which is full HD. Yes, all these things are quite relevant. One thing, let me switch back to my standard view because then it's a bit easier on the eye. One thing that you should really keep in mind when you're doing OBS streaming is delay and also your attention span. Yeah, I see you chatting on the side, but if I would concentrate on this is something that needs quite a lot of practice. If I would concentrate on what you're chatting on the side, I would be completely lose what I actually want to say. So streaming is a different thing. That's why I always stay after the lesson in Discord or also here on the stream for questions, and then I actually actively read what you're typing on the memes you're posting. So that's one of the things that this is relevant. But if you're recording, this is less of a problem, obviously. For me, these videos always do both. I use OBS to record my lesson and to stream it at the same time, and I'm really happy that I have 25 people watching at the moment. So that's something that is pretty nice. This makes me happy. What else is there to tell? Oh yeah, delay is also a point. Between what I say here in front of my desk towards this camera, when I would rather speak to people, to when it actually arrives at you, there is like 5 to 10 seconds of delay. So even if I would try to now look what you're saying in the chat, and I would like to answer questions, I'm probably further already. So for a lesson scenario, that's not so good. It's like something that would throw me back, and then I have to go back a few slides or something. I don't want you to produce slides though. I don't want you to produce proper tutorials. Yeah? So this is something. Don't go for the whole slides thing. Go for something that is more entertaining and that is useful for other students as well. So try to actually bring something into the world that is interesting for people to watch. And I have a few semi-humorous examples in the assignment text. Don't take me too serious on this. I'm pretty sure you have something awesome that you can share with other students. One thing about Twitch and Discord, there's a high chance that you're watching my stream just now from Discord. It's super easy. You just post the link and it gets embedded. In case of Twitch, this is very, very easy and quickly done. The downside with Twitch, in my eyes, is that there's advertisements and that it's very gaming focused. It's like maybe not the right portal for this, although I got pretty good feedback from the students that watched. Still, you have to see if you want to do this. If you want to go for YouTube streaming, you have to keep in mind that YouTube takes at least 24 hours to activate streaming for your account. So don't go to YouTube with all your enthusiasm, activate it, and then find out that you have to wait for another day before you can try it. That's actually the reason why I went with Twitch in the end. That's really the only reason why I went with Twitch in the end. That's all in the realm of experiences, yes. This is quite a short lesson, I know. Oh, no, it's not even 22 minutes. It's not even that short. But it should give you an insight and also just an idea what you could do. Yeah. So I want you to really think about what you could and in which format you could teach each other, because yes, this sounds a bit lazy, but I don't want you to teach media production topics. I want you to teach whatever you're good in, because in the end, you will have to do this when you're in a working environment too. Yeah? So you learn both to prepare something that you want to teach, you do some research on what you actually and how to do it and how to convey the knowledge. And conveying the knowledge is something that is considered one of the higher level skills in any skill set. So if you're actually doing this and you're doing it properly, we are both all entertained because we have something new to see and to learn and to stay in contact with each other. And it's a good practice to do video cutting. So the next thing that we will do actually, and also the next lesson, let me quickly whip up the second screen because there's something weird about the next lesson, is that we are looking into video cutting with DaVinci Resolve. But this is the roster for next week. And as you see, there's also stuff in there that is not really relevant for you. For example, EDO assessments. But you see, it's an assessment week. So this means, for example, on Monday afternoon, I have to assess semester 1 students. This means like there we don't have time for a lecture. But we have a lecture on Thursday afternoon like now. And that's when I want to start with actual video cutting and actual video editing. First from a more storytelling perspective, and then later more from a technical perspective. We also have a designated assessment block for us. Ignore that one. The next assignment will be exactly this. So your videos that you produce are actually what is part of your grade. I will not expect you to do like an exam or something. I already said this. I think media production and exams doesn't go well with each other. But it is still part of the final grade, what you're producing here in the second assignment. But I think it's a fun one. I'm also doing it constantly, so maybe I just want other people to feel the same pain. I don't know. We will see. I think it will be cool. So this is something that keep in mind. We don't have a lesson on Monday. We only have it on Thursday. As always, I'm reachable through Discord, and I will now shift my attention a bit more to the chat. So if you have a question that I should answer in here, and that is something where I should maybe show something, it is the moment where you can actually ask me to show something that you still want to see. Otherwise, afterwards, I will go into Discord and be in the voice chat. Is there anything that you want to know before I finish this and wrap the stream up? I'll wait for a small moment. Yeah, the 5 to 10 seconds. Huh? It's like it's also an experience. If I do something like this, I have the feeling I have to awkwardly wait until people see what I actually, or hear what I actually said. And if I move on already, that's a problem. So I have to now stall for the option of you to put something in the chat that is that you want to know. I'm learning myself. I think we are all learning in this situation, and yeah, but there's nothing coming, so that's all right. So I will actually wrap up this pretty short tutorial and go into Discord, and we'll talk there. If you have questions about the assignment, read the assignment maybe now, because then we can directly discuss this and see what to do with it. And maybe you already have ideas that you want to discuss with me. Maybe you want feedback on something, or have the idea, I want to do a cooking course, whatever. Yeah? Be open and talk to me about it, and let's stay in contact, and then we'll see from there. Thank you for watching my stream. That's the live part for today. Everything else we'll discuss in Discord, and I'll look forward to talk with you there. Bye bye.